Ethiopia, as we all know, before the coming up of His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, has scored a very good economic progress and different kind of change. But in terms of politics, I can say the country was more of polarized, where the democratic institutions were not growing very well, and it was a time we witnessed different kind of opposition parties couldn't provide or couldn't express their say openly in the country, and it was also very difficult to find independent media in the country. But after the coming up of His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, a lot of political changes came to the country, especially the government called upon different opposition parties who fled out of the country for a long period of time. In addition to that, all political prisoners were free, and the government tried to create different platforms for the development of different political institutions, which are democratic institutions, including making the Supreme Court more of independent, and also election board. So these are like some of the political reform that were taken by the Abiy Ahmed government to make the country to have more of a stable political, which is a democratic system. So I can say in terms of politics, we have seen a very big change, so that the country become more of open to the media and different kind of institutions, democratic institutions grow very, very well. Of course, as you have said, Ethiopia is the pride of Africa. It is the only African countries which has never been colonized. And after the coming up of His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed on power, Ethiopia has witnessed different kind of political and economic progress. But previously, the country was dominated by a political group, the Tigray People Liberation Front, who has been there on power for more than 27 years. But during the coming up of the new government, TPLF were not happy of losing its political basis, which it was controlled autonomously for almost 27 years. So they were not happy with the different political and economic reform. So they tried all their best to destabilize the country, to sponsor different kind of violences in the country here and there, and also to instigate different kind of displacement in the country, which was not like which was not human. So I can say that this was tolerated by the existing government, and even apart from that, the Tigray People Liberation Front, they undertook their own regional election, which is against the rule of the constitution and which was against the decision of the parliament. So among all, in November 3, they violently attacked the Ethiopian National Defense Force, who has been there for more than decades, 2 decades, and which was keeping the sovereignty of the country. So as the government, the Ethiopian government is also responsible to keep the sovereignty of the country, to defend the sovereignty of the country. So for the sake of maintaining law and order in the country, it counterattack, and this is like the reason for the conflict regarding what happened in Tigray region starting from November. But as much as possible, the government took all its effort to maintain rule and law in the northern part of the country. And I can say that the law enforcement mechanism was successfully done by the government. So far, most of the political leaders who were instigating this violence were handed. They are going to the prison, but still some are still not yet handing their hands. So the government is still trying to look after these junta groups. Currently, as I've said, the law enforcement operation is successfully done, but whenever you have such kind of conflict, it is inevitable to see some kind of displacement and humanitarian crisis. So some number of people who have been residing in the northern part of the country have fled to the neighboring country, Sudan. And there was some internal displacement. So after the law enforcement operation was successfully completed, immediately the government started to rehabilitate the situation, to rehabilitate the society. So food and non-food items have been properly distributed to those who have fled and those who are already displaced from their living places, and also in collaboration with the UN. The government also started to dispatch different important necessary items to the displaced people and also to those who are affected by the conflict. So still government is working on rehabilitation the already displaced people. But you see, when this conflict was taking place, the TPLF junta had created a very big problem on the different infrastructures that is found in that region. So it affected the like the telephone, the roads, electricity, and different kind of infrastructure were highly damaged. So it became very difficult for the government to reconstruct them again and to come back into work. But as much as possible, the government is trying to reconstruct all the different damaged infrastructure, especially in most places this time telephone is reconnected. As much as possible, power energy is coming to the different houses, and also the society has already started to report back to their offices. So official works have already started, and marketplaces and different services, banks, for instance, have already started their operation. So I can say that at this moment, life has started to back into its normal situation. But still, since the different infrastructure were highly affected by the TPLF junta, a lot is still left to reconstruct the situation. But still the government is trying all it is based to reconstruct the infrastructure and to provide all necessarily food and non-food items to those who are affected. As much as possible, government is trying all it is based to reconstruct the situation and also to explain the matter to those who are concerned, especially what are the causes and what is the responsibility of the government whenever such kind of problems has happened. So still the government is trying to rehabilitate the situation, and also trying all it is based in providing peace and security in that region. So we hope within a very short period of time as I've said already, the normal life has already begun. So all the businesses and other important services will start to operate in a very future near time. Ethiopia and India have had witnessed a very good relationship starting from the first century, where many Indians were fleeing to Ethiopia to sell their different materials, including their silks and spices, and they used to buy gold and ivory from Ethiopia. So this relationship has been there for a long period of time, and the relationship were grown very well, especially after we have started our diplomatic relationship in 1948, and more or less I can say that we are successful in building very good capacity building cooperation with India, and also different kind of development cooperation, and also in terms of business and trade we are going very far. And for instance, at this moment we can see more than 600 Indian companies that are operating in Ethiopia. So India is one of the few investors for indirect investment opportunities for Ethiopia. And still I can say that after the coming up of the COVID pandemic, still we are witnessing interests from Indian investors to go and work and operate in Ethiopian market. So this really shows that the relationship is like very vibrant, and currently we are also expecting a high-level delegation visit from the Ethiopian side. So we hope that this relationship would help to also discuss very important matter that would help us to develop this relationship into a strategic level. Currently, Ethiopia has a lot of priorities, especially in terms of investment, and it has also an interest to invite investors who can work jointly either with government or private institutions in Ethiopia. So sectors like energy, power, agriculture, pharmaceutical are like some of the big sectors that the country is working on. In addition to that, as you know, Ethiopia has a lot of tourist attraction places. So taking that into consideration, Ethiopia is inviting many Indian investors to come and see what is found in Ethiopia. Ethiopia currently has more than 10 UNESCO registered heritage, but this has never been promoted. And Indians are good in such kind of sector. So we believe that in collaboration with the tourism board in India, we can do a lot in promoting Ethiopian tourism. As you know, AfCFTA has been there, and there are many signatory African countries, and Africa believes that it has a big market, more than 1.2 million, and Africa is a source of different resources that could be in mining, that could be in agriculture, whatever, even in labor. But if Africa work together, if Africa open up, it is economy for Africans. Africans can easily move into different African countries. They can invest. They can take different kind of economic scale, and they can work. And taking border differences into consideration, if there will be a free entrance to Africans into different African countries, there will be exchange of culture, exchange of different experiences, technologies, and that would be like a cause for sustainable growth and development in the future. So we hope this FTA would be one step, like a very good cause for to the development of Africa. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I can say that Ethiopia currently in the media, especially after the Ethiopian government started the law enforcement operation in the Tigray region, media has been portraying the government of Ethiopian action in a more wrong manner. But I believe if rather than depending on the social media, if people try to get the real situation from the government point of view, from different government medias, which are more of reliable media, that would really help to give the world what is like the true essence of the issue and what is the stand of Ethiopia, because Ethiopia has been there for a long period of time preaching peace to the world, even maintaining peace through the region. We can witness what the current Prime Minister has done with the Eritrean government. So, and also in the case of different neighboring countries. So taking all this stance of Ethiopia as a peace lover country, I want like the world to take Ethiopian position into consideration, that we are always there to maintain peace and security in the country and also in the region. And if there would be any problem that would arise with our neighboring countries, we are always in a position to find solution in peaceful and in negotiation than going into another causes.